Okay, welcome everybody. This is Will Anderson live with coverage of the MGI Grand Slam finals. Wow, it's been a while. Um, this is going to be a best of five finals between two players that have not spent very much time in the top group, but made late charges in the event to come back all the way into the first and second slots and earn passage into the finals here. Um, so Wellington, actually, the name tag's reversed. I'm going to fix that right now. Wellington Jighere, former World Scrabble champion, number 2 ranked player in the world right now. One of the finest players in the world, against his countryman Opeyemi Oloro, who himself is one of the top ranked players in the world with a WESPA rating in the mid 2000s. No surprise to see these two players here. Perhaps the only surprise, how they got here in really stunning fashion for both. Opeyemi winning a couple of games against, you see, the third place finisher Tega Okiemute in unbelievable fashion. Hard to really characterize how amazing those games were. I've never really seen it on part of Tega with a win all but wrapped up, his winning play on the board that would have punched his ticket into the finals, but having a crisis in confidence of some sort in the word sand diver, picking it up off the board. Really amazing. So either way, kudos to these players. Opeyemi finding a way to win those games, and Wellington winning 6 of his last 7 to make his way into the finals here. At some point, I'm going to be joined as well by former North American Scrabble champion Conrad Bassett-Bouchard on the commentary. But for now, the players are set and ready to play. And we're going to be watching this best of 5 finals to see who wins a prize upwards of, I think the prize is ₦1,000,000, which is still upwards of $2,500 or in the whereabouts of that in US dollars. So a pretty significant prize on the line. And it's been a long road to this point. This is, if we just cut really quickly to the schedule here, you can see it's been a grueling road to this point. Day 1, 10 games of play. Day 2, 10 games of play. Day 3, we've already played 4 games, and we potentially could play as many as 5 more here, assuming one player doesn't get the best of the other too quickly. So exciting stuff. It's been really great throughout. Extremely interesting, exciting games. Hopefully we get through with a minimum of technical difficulties. We have some systems in place, of course. If the board becomes a little bit difficult to read, we have the ability to show you an analysis board here. Of course, we've been cutting to this over the course of the event. Looks like the frame rate a little slow for the players, so we'll cross our fingers and hope for stability here. Haven't seen too much adjustment in those cameras. So the players are in a separate room now, a different room than the one we'd been using. It's just the two of them with the staff on hand, of course. So, oh, and we should also, let me just make sure that this remains on the screen as well, just to make sure everybody is aware of the fact that it is the finals round 1. Put that on screen. So we are into the home stretch here, 24 rounds of the main event in the books, and yeah, Wellington Jighere in position again to add another trophy to his voluminous trophy case. So we should be running predictions and stuff like that, make it a little more interactive, but I feel like Is there a link to detailed tournament results? Yeah, there is. Let me see. So I think I can get that here. So the detailed results you can find here. So I'm not sure what delay there is, if anything. Um, so stand by for me just a minute. I think the players are starting shortly, but I'll be with you guys in just another couple moments as we get ready to start game one here. All right, so I'm not sure what's happening with the players. They're seated, they're ready to go. I'm ready to go, and most of all, we have my guest, Conrad Bassett Bouchard, ready to go. Conrad, welcome. Excited to have you with me for commentary here.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. It's been a while since I've been on the 5 a.m. shift, but I guess 5:30 now. But we're here and we're ready to go. I got the coffee all ready.
Nice. Yeah.
Find
So
the screen if I can figure out how directions work. Yeah.
5:30 a.m. for you. This is the sacrifice we make to cover elite Scrabble play,
Yeah,
courtesy
that's right.
of MGI. The Nigerians bring it, man. They have some entertaining games, and this event has been no different. So
I agree. There are only certain things that would make me wake up at 5:30 to do Scrabble commentary, or only certain Scrabble things that would make me
yes,
want to. So
and watching Welly compete is one of those things. He's really one of my favorite players to watch play. I'm not sure how you feel, but I think
oh
he is
yeah.
just he's so creative, has a really good board sense, obviously
Yeah.
great word knowledge, all of the fundamentals that go into being an elite Scrabble player.
Yeah.
But he's got it all.
And he has the emotion and like the passion and like the identity to be there too, which is really fun.
And the psychology has been on full display here. There have been
Really.
so many psychological ploys. There was a game where Wellington had a brilliant block of two bingos on different sides of the board,
Yeah.
and he played a losing move only to then stare at it for a while, pick it up, and play the winning move. As he starts the game with Batmen, yes, there can be more than one.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck. Do we even acknowledge that as a real Batman?
Well, when I think Batman, I just think about how the Los Angeles Dodgers did not win, and that makes me happy.
That's nice. Yeah. Oh, and look at this. So amazing.
That's the
Opeyemi
beauty.
with this terrible rack, except for the S, gets the exact letter that he needs in the form of the
Yeah.
B. to open with a bingo. So good start for Opeyemi. That's kind of that, sometimes when you're going to need to win a big event, you need that lucky break. And with that rack, getting a B from Wellington to play beauties was just what Opeyemi needed.
Yeah. Things are probably going your way when tiles like that just seem to miraculously appear out of nowhere.
So we do have the ability when the screen gets a little fuzzy, we can always cut to this board. That's going to be my workaround for when that happens. Typically, things do start to get a little sharper, but as long as we have Wellington's rack, which it looks like he's drawn that first blank, so he should have. So clearly in this position with that S wide open in the lower part of the board, he's going to be looking through that S to see if he can find a play that hits 2 triple word scores. And there happens to be such a play here.
I do. I see one. I don't know if there's more than one, but I definitely see one. I think he'll find it too.
There is one and only one. And I think the thing that makes it likelier that he's going to find this word, which David Eldar in the chat, welcome again. Very consistent viewer and a champion level player in his own right. Exactly. He's pointed out that pulsator, the bingo through the S, it's kind of among the more normal words that you might see. It's a little obscure, but I think you could do worse in terms of crazy looking words. But I think the odds of Wellington finding it are so high because there is actually another anagram of this word. So the odds of him seeing one of the two of the words with the P and then thinking of the other are pretty good.
Yeah. I think it's just a matter of going through every letter once. And I think after he gets through a couple, and if that rack is correct for Opeyemi, then that'll be a sad block of shekel.
True. So, definitely Opeyemi hoping to be able to play we all talk about Q words with no U, but shekel would be a wonderful play to hit this S. There's just no way that Wellington's not playing something in this spot, even if he were to miss pulsator, which again, that would be a big miss in this scenario. Pulsator for 113 points. Big score. Hitting, not that big of a score for a play that hits both triple word scores, but in a vacuum, 113 points is a heck of a lot. And the next highest scoring play is something like Rajulate, or I guess he'd probably play something like this, Sutorial, or maybe Rajulate here. That score is only 71. That's 40 fewer points. A lot. That's a big, big drop off. So this would be surprising if Wellington doesn't come up with this. Conrad, do you have a system other than just going A, B, C, D, E, F, G when you have a blank like this? Or
so I just go through the letters like that, but I actually do sing the ABC song in my head. I've never been able to not sing it.
That's great. Oh, I'm gonna be next when we play in the future. I'm gonna be thinking about that when you play a blank that you were just singing inwardly
for
before that.
All 20 years without fail.
Wow.
I always sing the ABCs when I look for blanks.
Wellington's designated his blank. Let's see where he places these tiles on the board. The board shot seems a little slow to update. I guess it's potentially we're going to see all the tiles in one big chunk hit the board here, unless it's just frozen.
Yeah. Deldar does ask how I stay sane. I appreciate the fact that someone thinks I'm sane.
All right. I'm not sure what's happening with the board camera. I'm going to try to refresh it, obviously, because it's kind of important that we figure out what Wellington actually played, unfortunately. I'm going to assume that he found this bingo, but let's just give it a little nudge.
Opeyemi's already played as well, so
yeah. So we'll hope that Wellington deliberates a little. I think we should be able to get the board back. Okay. Wow. Big miss. Okay. Shocking, actually. That is surprising. So Wellington leaving almost 40 points on the board here with his play of Emulator. It does block shekel, I guess, but that's going to be small consolation when he discovers that after the game. So that's a surprising one. Cat, the play from Opeyemi makes sense there. Get rid of the Q in the best spot that you can. but I'm surprised by that one, Conrad.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching a few games throughout the weekend, but given that the timing hasn't been a huge overlap, can you tell me, like, has that been a common sight to see misses like that? I was there for Unsino yesterday, but like, where'd that come from or not come from?
I would say in general, maybe a slight uptick in those types of mistakes from what I'm used to.
Mhm.
Nothing super egregious. There was a play in one of the early games where Wellington played end plane instead of many valid bingos, and it stayed on the board to his credit. It was a double
Yeah,
double for 86 points. It stayed on the board. So that was kind of surprising, but yeah, to see that one,
yeah,
maybe just slightly uncharacteristic. If you were to run the same event many times in a row, Wellington might go the whole event without making a miss like that. But hey, it's the finals. It's been 24
yeah,
games in the book already. There's definitely some fatigue, creeping in, and it's hard to really pin down sometimes, why those types of errors happen. And
yeah,
even plays that you would nail 99 times out of 100, that means there's one time out of 100 you're going to make a mistake that agonizes you when you
yeah.
discover it.
And honestly, that's such a big part of the top level of Scrabble, right? It's like it's just about making the same correct play 100 times in a row. Like that's a lot of what it comes down to. So hopefully he's
So
able to recover a bit here.
So Wellington is about to play ads with the E at the base of the board. I know it's really hard to see right now. We're definitely going to work on that. Wellington playing ads for 49. That looks like a pretty reasonable play.
He's also
Suggestion.
setting up Wizen for next turn as well.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. So that's kind of a nice follow up, of course, as Conrad alludes to. You keep literally the exact letters that you would need to follow up through the ZE, but waned for 47, leaving the Z for next turn
Oh
also
yeah,
looks pretty nice. So
definitely an improvement.
some ideas there, but this is nowhere near as big of an error as emulator versus pulsator by any means. This is kind of like a hair splitter compared to
Yeah.
that. Um, so this is actually going to lead to, oh, wait. Wellington picked that up and played something completely
Oh, played
different.
Ah.
He has played Za. So rather than allowing Opeyemi to play a nice H overlap, which you see here, he actually is going to play something a little more. Well, I mean, I guess you could. I'm not sure if it's more or less defensive, but it scores fewer and keeps a little more balanced of a leave. So, all right, let's see what Opeyemi just plays Ho in response to that.
Yeah, kind
Seems
of
reasonable. Um,
mostly neutralizing that spot, but you could still end with an A making Ahi or something. So you could see that column B spot turning into a 60-point play now in the future. We'll have to keep an eye out, see what happens.
True. So Conrad is referring to this spot right here. Definitely some tiles that go down that could hit super hard, including the F, the C. Definitely some danger in a play there. Sorry, let me just remove this. It looks like Wellington is placing some tiles on the board. Apologizing to everybody for not sure what's happening with the board shot. It's very challenged right now, so we're going to be making heavy use of the analysis board when we figure out what exactly Wellington played. It seems to be frozen. So I'll try to refresh it again. But okay. Well, it's doing it for me. So okay, there we go. There's the play. The play that the engine suggests was just Haw, and that is the play that was made. A little risky, though. I mean, obviously, for 36 points, you're going to be willing to do a lot of stuff, but
Yeah,
that new opening's kind of scary.
it is scary. It probably does, as we would say, increase his opponent's average score a little bit. But given that he leaves Dine with none of the letters in Dine in emulator on the board,
Mm.
uh, he's sort of it's a bit of a ploy to say, fine, you take the triple, I'm gonna bingo through an 8 in the middle there, or maybe he draws a bingo on the left side and the spot stays open. You never know. I suspect that's part of the thinking.
Yeah, so Conrad mentioned that with Wellington's leave of D-I-N-E, none of these letters are represented there. That's helpful because you never want to have duplicated letters in your words. It reduces the number of words you'll have available to you. So being able to hit all of these different letters from the ones that you have on your rack, all of which are good bingo tiles, definitely increasing Welly's odds of a bingo here.
Yeah.
So Opeyemi has decent tiles. It's definitely a challenge right now. I'm not really sure what we can do to sharpen that up. So we're just going to do our best to eventually figure out what the words are that are played, and we'll use the analysis board so you guys can follow. Um, so all right, it looks like something is going down here, and hopefully we get our board back. This is a little bit of a downtick if you're just joining for the finals. A little bit of a downtick from previously. I know the players have changed rooms. We're now in a separate room, so sometimes tricky to duplicate those conditions. So anyway, while we try to get this board back,
Looks like I think he played Flair on
okay, that looks like a pretty good idea. I would fully expect him to play something in that area just to prevent Wellington from using his own setup. So if Flair was the play, let's assume that it was. I think we have the board back now. Yeah, looks like probably Flair.
yeah.
So Wellington, I think he's probably playing something with a Y in this spot right here. Let's just see if we can figure that out. Oh, is
Yeah.
he? Oh, he may just have played the Y by itself. And
Wow.
is Opeyemi going to do the impossible and somehow play the word jig against Wellington Jighere? Is he
It
going
could
to be
happen.
getting jiggy with it somewhere?
You would absolutely love to see it.
He plays
Oh,
jagged. He plays
jagged.
jagged,
Ooh,
leaving I.
leaving two eyes just like that. Didn't seem to really think. Is this common for Opeyemi to play really
He
fast?
has been playing pretty fast. Yeah, the only player to really be playing any faster was Tega.
Giga, I would assume.
So, and he was just playing at an absolute lightning
Yeah,
speed.
yeah,
So there had to have been a play here that used up an I that's likely better. I guess I'm curious as we're getting a brief moment of some semi clarity of the board. Why not just jig right here,
why not
right?
jig? Yeah,
Why not jig? It's appropriate. You're playing Wellington Jighere. You get a little psychological action going as you
yeah,
play jig instead of jagged. So jagged for 32 is not a massive error by any means, but it's
didn't,
certainly
didn't he have
uh, Jilji.
Jilji?
That's true. Jilji
That
as
seems,
well
yeah, that seems
represents
pretty solid.
a solid improvement as well. But I'm definitely preferring just a simple jig here.
Yeah,
Maybe he didn't want to disrespect Wellington with that. So
yeah.
anyway, Wellington has this word on his rack of detenue, and we're gonna see him bingo here. Let's see if we can catch any of this as it goes onto the board.
Does seem like Welly's going to get some points here. Scoring will not be stopping. Do you think it's reunited or retinued?
Hard to say. They're very, very close. I guess with the X still out, he's going to play retinued. So the difference between the two plays is that if you play reunited here like this, it's going to create a spot where you can simply play your X or XI in the same spot. Whereas this play is a little less dangerous in that regard. So I do see we can just make out that he has played retinued to take a pretty solid lead here.
Yeah.
Um, so ing on the rack for Opeyemi. The rest of the letters not so good, but he has a pretty cool play here, which I'm guessing he's made. The rack, you can see it's a little bit lagged, but the
Oh,
tiles
yeah.
UK have
Okay.
left his rack, so I'm guessing he's gonna play Ukes here. Let's see if it's
Yeah.
on the board when we come back to the game.
He played off UK, so one would, yeah, there it is.
There we go. All right, very good. So that looks like a really good play, by far the best, scoring 38 points, leaving ING on the rack. Not that there's a great place to play ING anywhere here, but it's better than any other option by a lot. And you can see he now has Soiling on his rack there, which actually will play on this board as it's currently constructed with an archaic hook here, Snai, that will actually fit on the board. Oilings might also be a word, but gosh, who can keep straight ing words?
Oilings.
Yeah.
Chat, how do
So,
you feel about Oilings? How do you feel about the streamer?
geez. Oh, Toilings even plays underneath here too. I didn't even realize that. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, not sure what. Let's see if we can make out any of this. So Wellington's turn. It looked like he had something like Fava. I'm sure he's likely to be playing Fava here.
Nope, setting up a good spot for Oilings.
Setting
Well,
up Oilings. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess it must not be the way you're chuckling at me. And Quackle confirms it. Yeah. So all right, Fava is on the board now. So Wellington is up to 310. Opeyemi is at 233.
but
And
you
let's see.
tell me, like, is that the kind of word he would know is not good? I don't know too much about his
It's
game
I
other than he has a very high rating.
I think it's the type of word that he won't be sure enough to play, and that either. Oh, there we go. Oh, this
That looked like
okay.
a very, very fast challenge. So,
We're gonna the board is gonna catch up momentarily, but basically what we're gonna see is that Oilings was tried, and it's going to get challenged off the board. So this is a big swing here in favor of Wellington, who has a blank of his own. And
yeah.
and it's not even clear to me whether he knows for sure that Oilings isn't good. I bet he does know that. And now that's going to be really nice for Wellington if he were tempted to use his own S here. He's going to have that knowledge that, or
Yeah.
actually, no, he's not going to. Sorry, he's not going to have that because favas is a word. So
Right.
sorry. But what he is going to know is that soiling is the only spot where his opponent can bingo, and he should
Yeah.
be able to come up with a way to block it. That's what I was meaning to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. That's what we thought.
So Oilings should come off here, and Wellington is going to have a solid lead.
So how about you, Will? Would you have tried Oilings there? Do you think you would have? I mean this in a non-trolly way. Like how do you
No.
think through these sorts of plays where like you're 50-50 on a play that scores so much more? Do you tend to be more aggressive? Do you tend to be more defensive or more conservative? What's your
So
thought?
my particular thought process here would just be that this particular thing, ing plurals, is a weakness of mine. And if ever there was an area where I need to show some humility and just
Yeah.
play the words that I'm absolutely sure of, it would be with ing words that take an S or don't. So I think in this particular case, I would play soiling here and just accept that I made a big mistake if oilings is a word.
Mhm.
At the same time, there are other situations where I don't have that, weakness that I'm aware of, and it just happens to be a one-off situation. As Wellington almost certainly plays VORS here, yeah, leaving ON.
Assume, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a great idea for many reasons. It scores well. It was already a good play of his, and it blocks soiling because now you can't put your last letter in that spot. So that's totally a great play by Wellington
Yeah.
here.
And just knowing that Opeyemi can't hit that left side with the F because he knows all of his tiles and he's got NO blank, there's a decent chance he's getting first crack at the bingo lane on the left side.
Great point.
Really, really put it out of reach.
Yep, only the A and E can play parallel in this spot right here. So knowing all of Opeyemi's 7 tiles and knowing he has no vowel that fits there, and you can see Wellington has drawn at least an E. Whether or not he actually has something with Puni blank. He has Polony would fit
Polony,
in that
yeah,
spot.
that's what I was
So,
thinking.
um,
You have a question in the chat, Will. What good apps do you like to practice words? Practice learning words, studying words, playing.
Oh, so the two that I have used would be Ziziva. I use the Collins version of Ziziva pretty extensively. That could be
Yep.
probably Googled relatively easily. Sorry, the scores are 342. Opeyemi still. Let's see what his last play was. It looks like he played
He played
GI somewhere.
he played Jig
He
after
did.
all.
He did play Jig. So
And
moving
this time it was a
tribute.
clear mistake.
Yeah, I think there probably were
QI.
better
Just
options.
dropping QI for sure.
Something like QI looks great in that situation, just to keep a really good bingo leave and create a place to actually play with it. So
Yeah.
that certainly
And
looks good.
and if you miss it, you play something making QIS next turn to open the board like crazy.
Yep.
Play Lingos or something.
So, Wellington spotting his only bingo. We cut back to the board. The word we mentioned, this obscure bingo of Polony. Not your everyday word, but nevertheless, well spotted by Wellington here. And he is taking a pretty big lead in this game.
Yeah.
So I think the scores are accurate. Obviously, aware of the board. That's a pretty big mismatch there. Wellington well on his way to a win in this first game of the match.
And so this is just best of, right? There's
It
spread
is, yeah.
doesn't play a factor, or would it play a factor in a tie?
If a tie were to happen, it would then start to matter. But as it is, we actually have had a surprising number of ties in the event so far. And that's not, we have had a very low number of ties in terms of players from Thailand. We've had a very high
Did you know
number.
I was about to make that joke?
Yes, I sure did. I sure did. I know you better than that.
Streamer knows me too well. I was gonna
Yep.
make that joke. I said, I don't think there are many ties this year at all. What are you talking
Yes, I knew it was coming.
about?
Sorry, I should have as a good
No, no, I love it.
as a good
Keeping me on my feet.
co-commentator, I should be letting you have those jokes rather than stealing them from you before you get to
No,
tell them.
it was pretty funny. I'll
But there was a situation where the player in first place at the end of day one, Olatunde Odewole, had a tie, and then in the very first or second game of day two, he tied again for the second time in like 10 games as we lose our board here. So we're seeing, let's see, some number of tiles hitting the board. Again, apologies for the issues with getting the board status. I'm sure between games, maybe we'll take a quick break to try to sort that out a little bit. So we can probably deduce a little bit from how many tiles the players use, what play. Oh, wow, a lot of tiles came down there for Opeyemi. Looks like he played like Niton or something somewhere. I'm not even sure where that would be.
maybe the top left. Maybe he's just kind of throwing in the
Oh,
towel.
we have the board
Play
back.
off the
So
letters.
let's see if we.
Oh,
Oh,
Noint.
Noint. Okay, so he played Noint down low for 20 points. Wellington playing Aid, E-I-D-E, leaving two eyes, but blocking the board and scoring nicely. So score now 437 to 271. And there's still a fair number of tiles to go, but Wellington is up by so much that it really isn't likely to matter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, David Eldar suggesting a resignation here, which if ever there were a time to do it, it would be in a match play format, where, as we were discussing moments ago, the point spread of the games is almost completely inconsequential. So,
Yeah.
um,
That's why I was wondering, like, is resigning allowed, or would they have
do
spread matter
they?
as
Yeah,
the
I don't think spread is likely to matter. So yeah, we'll see if the players just have to play out the string in these games that are pretty well decided. Either way, Opeyemi is playing pretty fast, so I think the game shouldn't take too much longer to finish. We'll
yeah.
see what he has played here eventually. It
I do like
looks
a blowout where everyone plays fast.
Yeah, just get to the next game already, right?
Yeah.
So let's see. So we'll see from the letters. It looks like he played something like CRS. Maybe he just played this in this spot. Let's see if we can tell. Doesn't seem to be on the board yet. And Wellington probably making his next play as well. So I don't see that much of a better play. If he played CRUS, I don't see why not just tack the Y on unless you don't know that word. Cruci.
Might not know the word.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird word for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try to refresh again.
Maybe he's fishing for Welly.
To play Jig and Welly in the same game would be pretty amazing. All right, let's see if we can tell what's been played. Yeah, he did just play Cruz there, so maybe just a miss of being able to put the Y on there as well. So Opeyemi at 289. Wellington's got an X. I'm not really sure I see a great spot for it, but I'm sure he'll figure something out. Maybe just something like Dixie parallel to the Q here. That could be reasonable. Again, he can basically play anything he wants at this point without worrying too much. Looks like Opeyemi is getting ready to play something else. Yep, he's hit his clock. So let's see if we can ascertain. It looks like Boo. Oh, was that maybe Wellington had two O's? No, Bod. He played Bod. Yeah, that's it. He did. He played Bod in the upper corner, and not sure yet what became of Opeyemi's rack there, as he looks like he's kind of lost in thought, losing game one, but he should keep his head up. He's got more of the series. Okay, there we go. So he played Limey off of the blank L of Polony. So again, I know it's impossible to see. So Wellington is up now to 463 to Opeyemi's 305. So really no doubt here.
Yeah, I'm guessing Opeyemi wishes he could go back to jigs. I don't think he's drawn an E since Jagged.
That's true. We've talked about that a couple times. So this E that was played here early on, you don't want to get too possessive of E's just because there are 12 in the set and you can redraw them a lot. But there are so many times where you'll use one thinking you're going to redraw one and you never do, and the game just sort of goes off the rails because they're so useful to play longer words. So this did seem like a bit of an inflection point. I mean, Wellington probably made the biggest error of the game in the form of missing his play of Pulsator on his first play. That was a 40-point error. But since
Oilings was...
fair. Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. Absolutely. Wow, explicit would be playable from an E with Wellington's rack. Unfortunately, he does not have that available. Yeah. Looks like he's just played his X somewhere. He's played. Did he have an F? What is that tile?
It was a P.
A P. Oh, he played Pax. Yeah, he played Pax. Right. Okay.
Nice little fit there.
Fat Pax for 35. That looks great. Continuing on here. So, and Opeyemi, not sure what he had there, but looks like we're rapidly headed towards the end of the game. That play of Pax emptied the bag. So somewhere Opeyemi played some combination of the letters for slow. Maybe just like owls or something. Not sure where. Let's see if we can figure out. Yeah, we'll definitely take a moment between these games and see if there's anything we could do to sharpen up this board. It really is a challenge. Okay, owls was in fact the play. Wellington responding with just cyst at the top of the board. And I'm sure some kind of outplay with RIN for Opeyemi is going to end this game. Maybe he'll play in row or trin. And that's going to do it for game one. A solid win for Wellington, even missing that triple triple. Conrad, as you point out, the Oilings play was a huge turning point of the game. If Opeyemi had just played Soiling, could have been a whole different story.
Yeah, it would have definitely been different, though, as we know, Wellington was sitting on some good tiles too, so maybe he would have just had redemption for a triple triple. We'll never know.
Yeah.
Well, he holds on at least to play another game.
Yep, he holds on. He wins by a lot, as we were noting. It's not really important at this point who's up, but obviously I will adjust it. So we have Wellington leads 1-0 at the base of the screen there. So, all right. With that, I don't really know if I'm just going to quickly, I think the players should definitely be playing their next game. I mean, we know we don't have to pair anything. We know who's playing who. But I think maybe what I'd like to do is just cut to a quick break. And you are not Austin Shin. You are actually Conrad Bassett-Bouchard.
Oh, I thought it was Austin.
So that we were able to fix that. And let's just go to a quick break and see if there's any way we can tighten up the board shot. And of course, we know the players are going to get underway shortly, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back very soon with Game 2 of the finals of the MGI Grand Slam.